Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. It's me, Manoe, and today we are continuing with the Ranking the Custom Track Jams videos. Today we are going over the last jam of Season 1, the Tower Jam. This is, in my opinion, one of the better jams, and it is a co-op jam, so if you hear me mention multiple names, that's why. There's only one track in here. It was disqualified, but I am still choosing to rank it for this video. That isn't co-op, and that's why it was disqualified, because it wasn't co-op. But yeah, once again, these are the versions found on the Custom Track Jams Discord server, so they may have been updated since then. I'm just ranking the ones that I can get off of there. So yeah, let's get started. Alright. For our last place track, we have Bounce 2, The Bouncining by Yoshi and Malkin8, originally placing last. So, this track, it's a joke track, obviously. It's the sequel to Bounce, another track that we've seen before in the Coin Jam. Yeah, it's a joke track. What more is there to say? I mean, it's a good joke track, how can I put this above something that's intended to be serious? Yeah, there's not really much more to say about it. It's a good joke track. It's just, you know, it's a joke track, so there's not really much to say about it. Alright, that is going to do it for Bounce 2, The Bouncining by Yoshi and Malkin8. Alright, next up we have THWOMP Towers by SPADE. This track originally was disqualified because this jam is a co-op jam, and this track is not co-op. This track was made by SPADE and SPADE alone, so it was disqualified. And that's not the reason it's in second to last, though. The track itself, it's not overly interesting to drive. The mini-map is broken. It doesn't have animations. It's a decent track, I guess. I mean, it's not really THWOMP related. It's an okay track. It's not obviously anything too amazing, but yeah, it's a track. Alright, that's gonna do it for THWOMP Towers by SPADE. For our next track, we have Unsatisfactory Fortification by Bear and TZ, originally placing 6th. So this track, it looks pretty good for the most part visually. However, this track not only does not count the lap, it doesn't have a mini-map, it plays pretty good, but the textures, there's also still placeholder textures, and some of the textures are not transparent. It's obvious that this would have been a great track and probably would have placed high had it been finished, but it wasn't finished, so I'm gonna have to place it pretty low here. Yeah, there's not really much else to say. Alright, that is going to do it for Unsatisfactory Fortification by Bear and TZ. Alright, next up we have Grassland Tower by PTPix1 and ROSALINA Speedruns. This is where the tracks start to get really good. This track, it's nothing too crazy, but it is a pretty good track. It does have some triangulation issues on the bridge here. Some of the textures don't line up. And it does have some boring parts like that long straightaway. But other than that, it's pretty good. And this track is probably it's better than most of the Sewer Jam tracks, and it's still placing 5th. So I commend it for that. It plays pretty okay despite the long straightaways. Those are like the only issues I really have with it. It looks okay visually, not the best track ever visually, but it still looks fine. Yeah. This one originally placed 5th, so it's not any different than what it was in the original jam. I think the placements, for the most part, in this jam were pretty good. there were some things that I would change, as you'll see later, but yeah, that's going to do it for Grassland Tower by PT Pix and Rosalina Speedruns. Right, for our 4th place track, we have Dusk Tower Isles by Billy Noodles and HMan6516. This track originally placed 3rd. So this track, it looks pretty good visually, although I do think some of the texture mapping is a bit too large in several places. It does look pretty nice for the most part, though. Where this track really lacks is in the gameplay. The gameplay is very boring. It's also not clear. I mean, there is an arrow, but it's kind of hard to see just because the track itself is so dark. It's hard to tell if you're not paying too much attention to your surroundings, which way you're supposed to go there. Yeah, it's also not clear that you're. I mean, there is the arrow there, but it's the mini map. It looks like you can still go that way, but I don't know. It's a good track visually. It really lacks in the gameplay department, though. So that's going to do it for Dusk Tower Isles by Billy Noodles and HMan6516. Alright, for our next track, we have Mossy Tower Ruins, originally placing 4th by Toxic Prime and Rex. So this is easily Toxic Prime's best jam submission, at least up to this point. The track is pretty nice visually. It's not the best track ever visually, but for the most part, it's pretty good, I think. The game, it has fun gameplay. Yeah, it's overall just a pretty good track. There's some interesting shortcuts. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about this other than that it's a pretty good track. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously not, like I said before, not the best track ever visually. There's better tracks in this jam visually. Like I think Dusk Tower Isles was probably better visually, but this track still holds up, so that's why it's getting 3rd. Alright, that is going to do it for Mossy Tower Ruins by Toxic Prime and Rex. Alright, so next up for our 2nd place track, we have Medieval Castle Grounds by Joris Mario Kart Wii. I feel like I'm butchering that. I'm sorry if I am. And K-Hacker 35,000 VR. So this track, it's good. It originally tied for 1st with another track that hasn't been shown yet because it got 1st, in my opinion. This track, it's pretty good. There's not too many flaws, although it doesn't have shadows, which I don't do shadows, but, well, I've tried, but they never turn out very well. And it doesn't have boost animations, I don't think, and the track just overall isn't as interesting to drive as the other one, so that's why it's getting a lower placement. Yeah, still a pretty good track, though. So, and the theming, I mean, it's good theming. I don't know if it's as good as the other track's theming, but it's still pretty good. So that's going to do it for Medieval Castle Grounds by Joris Mario Kart Wii. I'm probably butchering that once again. And K-Hacker 35,000 VR. Alright, for our winning track, we have Sandy Citadel by Slippery Mac and JDS. So this track is, in my opinion, one of the best jam tracks of all time. It's not, I don't think it's as good as Coin Heaven, but it is still really, really good. It has interesting theming, obviously. It seems to be, at least, I don't want to say it obviously is, because I said that Toad's Forgery was about robbing a bank, and apparently everybody else thought I was wrong about that. So I'm going to say I interpret it as a sandcastle. Might not be a sandcastle. I interpret it as that, so it could just be a sandy tower for all I know. But yeah, it's overall a great track visually. It's fun to play, and I just really like this track overall. So yeah, it has shadows, which is nice. Yeah, that's gonna do it for Sandy Citadel by Slippery Mac and JDS. Alright guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and yeah. Once again, if your track placed lower, it's not that I have anything against you. Your track was probably still very good. But it's my opinion, so, you know, whatever. Alright, well that's going to do it for today's video, guys, and if you want to see more content, be sure to like and subscribe. Alright, bye.